Across America, there are an alarming number of adolescents and teens battling substance use disorder. Experts say addressing their struggles means understanding the emotional, developmental, physical, psychological, familial, social, and cultural factors involved in their addiction. And the right long-term evidence-based treatment, one that provides responsive, personalized care through integrated treatment modalities, can be very effective in achieving lifelong recovery.
The drugs are more prevalent now and certainly more available than they were when we first started over 50 years ago. And actually, even the marketing of drugs and the normalization of drugs plays a little bit of a role in young people not understanding how harmful they can be at times. When you start using drugs at an early age, the earlier you use them, the more prone you'll be to addiction later on. Young people today think that marijuana can be harmless, and yet the studies show that it's really not a good idea when you're in your adolescent years.
Established in 1970, Dynamic Youth Community helps young people overcome substance use disorders and rebuild their lives through education, structure, and personal growth. A therapeutic community dedicated to supporting individuals and their families, DYC strongly focuses on the unique needs of young people, providing a safe and nurturing environment for teens to overcome the challenges of addiction and mental health conditions so they can unlock their full potential.
The mission is we work with young people, adolescents, young adults who are struggling with substance abuse, but we do that in a community environment, and we want it to feel like a family and a place where people can get the help that they need. That's been the mission since day one, and it remains the mission. So we measure success by setting goals. We set the goals with the members of the program. We do this together, and they work with their counselors, they work with their peers and each other to set those goals. It could be educational goals, vocational goals, maybe independent living. By the end of the process, you may see somebody that came in virtually homeless, no relationship with their family, didn't graduate high school. By the time they finish, they now have a high school diploma, they have a couple of roommates, they're living on their own, have a full-time job, they're enrolled in school. There's steps that they take to get there, and we're managing that and navigating that with them throughout the process.
Across both our Brooklyn Center and residential facility in Fallsburg, New York, DYC members and staff work together to create the self-discipline, perseverance, and other tools necessary to cope with any of life's hurdles. During a teen's time in our program, we focus on teaching life skills, providing education, and promoting healthy lifestyles, in conjunction with traditional clinical therapies. These programs and modalities are designed to respond to the specific needs of each patient and support lifelong recovery.
The treatment philosophy is a lifestyle, and really when you build a positive lifestyle, drugs become less important or less relevant to somebody. I use a phrase once in a while, mind, body, and spirit, that is part of the whole person. It's not just about drugs per se, it's really about the whole person and building that person to be really who they want to be. And if you do that right, then drugs play less of a role in your lifestyle.
Drugs destroy families. Families destroy drugs. And with compassion, structure, and opportunity, young people can transform their lives and restore their futures. DYC's long history and proven track record show that recovery works. And when you invest in young people, they can and do succeed.
I was about 15 when I first started. My drug of choice was fentanyl. It just went downhill from my first pill that I started with. It made me lose a lot. You know, I lost my word as a man, I lost all my money and my relationships with family. Those events led me to seek help because I felt hopeless. I felt like I didn't have nothing, nowhere to go, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. And I knew deep down that I wanted to get some help. I still wanted to live a long and healthy life. I'm now 4 years sober this upcoming March, and I couldn't have done it without DYC. I'm currently working as a EMT at NYU Hospital, and I love every day. I would recommend Dynamic Youth Community because I've met some of the greatest people I've met here who really want to help you, want to see a change in the community, and just want to see you do better, which a lot of people don't have, and I'm very grateful to have that in my life.
What we hear over and over again, and I know even for me, I went through the program. So I was a young teenager and I went through the program, and I immediately felt part of something, and I felt like I belonged, but I felt like I could do anything. The message is hope. There is hope and there is a future. And for young people, especially doing this now, you have a whole life ahead of you. And that's an opportunity that if the time goes by, you'll lose.
When substance use disorder treatment focuses on restoring a person's mind, body, and spirit, recovery is possible. Every person deserves to live a life of permanent sobriety and happiness. Learn more today about Dynamic Youth Community, 55 years of saving lives. For program information, go to dycinc.org or call 718-376-7923.